I'm a controversial type of guy. The immigration, terrorism, what is black, what is race, sex, radical thinking explode into some type of social discussion. 신발 짚고 자지 마세요. Don't sleep with your boots on.
I can't cross my hands, okay. Getting students together to discuss ideas critically and access different opinions and points of view so that it's not just speaking truth or like students' truth, but the idea of speaking truth to power. There's an underlying assumption that you're eliciting some type of change, so that you're speaking your beliefs to people in authority to hear them and then produce some type of change in response to that.
I love the title of Speaking Truth to Power. I think we're the generation that longs for just that, the truth. I want to talk about the war on terror, policing in America, gentrification, social issues, race issues, ethics in the media.
Number one on my priority list is, of course, animal rights. While manger au chocolat. Presidential elections is coming up, and I'm 18, so I can get to vote. There's so many things I just want to talk about.
I think it's a way to connect the John Jay community and to get different ideas out.
I wouldn't say like truth because you really don't know what's the truth out there. But I guess that's where we come together and find out about the truth.
Speaking truth to power is going to really play into its name. Truth is power. Knowledge is power. We have so much to say.
We have Al Sharpton. Some people don't agree with his methods. I don't agree with his methods and the way he operates, but some people do and identify him as a strong. I just don't think we have enough of them, and the ones that are out there, people are kind of just, and even from my experience, I see them kind of just being ignored and kind of kept at a low level and not given what they need to rise to the top.
Okay, you talked about a lack of strong leaders. Why does it take a man who is biracial and a woman who's the wife of a former president to reach the level of mainstream legitimacy that we have on the national level in the United States here?
I think that's a task that should be undertaken by any president, I think, at this point. But I think it's particularly interesting that a person who identifies or re-identify as a black man running as a president changes, I think, everything. And although it should be anyone's task, it should be every leader's task as for the country of America to address the issue of race. But I think it's particularly interesting that Obama is the one who sort of brought it up. And I think it's also interesting. I think we need to note that he didn't say that he's going to provide a quick fix. He said in his speech that this is not going to be solved within one administration. This is going to be it's going to take multiples and series of administration to tackle this issue. And if I had the chance, I would like to ask him what initial steps that he's going to take in sort of pushing the ball into this vision of unity and this discussion of race.
My question would be, what makes him different from Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or Shirley Chisholm? They're black and they ran. What makes Obama so different? That's my question.
There's a popular media image that are sort of tagged to Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and I think Obama. I think just the perception of education, the perception of the different scandals that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton went through. Obama is almost scandalous-free at this point, almost. Or at least they're not as scandalous, or they don't come off as black, I think, as Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, you never know who's sleeping with a hooker these days.
So
and that's the media portrayal. I'm not saying that's the case.
No. So go more into.
See, that's the problem with this issue of black candidacy as a president. Now we have this. You have to tackle, and that was the issue that Obama brought up as well. People say that I'm too black or I'm not black enough, and as a black person to come up with come up as a presidential candidacy, and your question of why not Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton? We already have an image of Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson, and personally, I wouldn't take them seriously. They are.
And why is that? Because you taught. It seems to me that it's the reason they're not taken seriously because they're so radical, and Obama offers someone that can cross over, someone can cross that boundary and reach out to the other side.
I think the only reason why I would see Obama as more credible or I would see Obama as more accepting is because every time something radical or something big happens, that's when Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson will come off and be angry and just kind of rant. But Obama sort of gives off this, calm, practical terms and sort of bringing everyone together. And the core problem is that there's this us versus them ethos that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton brings up. And I think we need to move past that and say, all right, it's not us versus them. It's not a zero-sum game where someone loses, someone wins, or it's us versus them. And Obama, or I would think that the leader for the black community or for any minority group, leaders should come up and rise above the us versus them ethos mentality and say, let's have this collaborative talk and have this collaborative solution into, unity or American dream.
I think it has a lot to do with just Reverend Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, kind of their position in the black community, that I see them more as movers and shakers, really, that they are the type of people that really can gather up the constituents and kind of get them out to voting and what have you. And it's not that I don't think that they are good leaders. In fact, I do. I think Al Sharpton is kind of an effective leader, that he holds a lot of power in the Democratic Party. And that I think that their role is much more as activists and movers and shakers rather than politicians.
I think that the foundation for another leader to step up. I think not all black leaders can be a president, I think. I think that's just not a fair remark, but I think that there's always people who come up and who set the stage for other future leaders, and I think that's what Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton has done. And, whether Obama becomes president or not, I mean, if he doesn't, then he's another stepping stone for another black leader to rise up.
You talked about there's not enough black leaders, and it seems that being a black leader in politics has meant being radical, being a mover and shaker, being an activist, and not so much. It's the tone has changed now for Senator Obama, because it's a new kind of thing where he's actually.
And if I may interject, I think there are many black leaders who are able black leaders, but the media attention is on Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. I mean, there's Tavis Smiley. There are plenty of other black leaders that are out there. They just don't get the publicity as Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, or Obama.